She's got blood all over her. There's no response from her.
Adrianne Robert was 29 years old, born January 4th, 1983 in Brunswick, Maine. She grew up in a family that described her in the same words over and over: warm, energetic, always smiling, always moving forward. She graduated from Leavitt High School in 2001, then earned her associate's degree from the University of Maine at Augusta in 2005. In 2007, she made a decision that thousands of young people make. She drove south, to Florida, to Clearwater, to a new life. She built that life carefully. A career as a graphic artist, classes at the University of South Florida, and love. A relationship with a man named Justin, steady and growing. By the summer of 2012, Adrianne and Justin had found a house. They were planning to move in together. The future was arriving exactly as she had hoped. Her roommate at the time was a friend named Jay. Their arrangement had simply run its course. No conflict, just growth. Adrianne was moving forward. July 13th, 2012 was their last night sharing that apartment. To mark the occasion, Adrianne and Jay decided to go out. They had already been drinking at the apartment before they left, enough that neither of them considered driving. So they walked, 1.5 miles north along Highway 19, to a strip club called Diamond Dolls. They arrived at approximately 10:30 in the evening. The club was busy. Low light, loud music, the ordinary rhythm of a Friday night. Adrianne and Jay found their spot. They ordered drinks. Around 1:30 in the morning, Adrianne decided she had had enough. She was tired. Home was a walk away. She said goodnight to Jay, who wanted to stay a little longer. She stepped outside into the warm Florida air and started the walk home. Jay stayed behind. Jay left Diamond Dolls sometime after Adrianne. He made the same walk back along the familiar route. He arrived home just after 3:30 in the morning. The apartment was quiet. He called Adrianne's name. No answer. He moved through the rooms, the living room, the hallway. He pushed open the bedroom door and walked toward the bathroom. What he found there stopped everything. Adrianne Robert was on the bathroom floor. She was unresponsive, partially clothed, wearing only a bra. There were bruises on her body. The toilet seat was broken, and there was a single stab wound to her upper left chest. Jay called 911.
911, is this a police, fire, or medical emergency?
Medical.
Tell me what happened.
I just came home. My roommate, we went out together. She came home a while ago, and she's not moving.
Okay, so she's unresponsive?
Completely.
Okay, what do you mean by that?
I mean, she's got blood all over her. There's no response from her. Like, her eyes are open and they're dilated.
Is she breathing?
No, there's nothing.
You can't see her breathing at all?
No, and that's just nothing.
Listen carefully. I need you to place the heel of your hand on the breastbone in the center of her chest.
Okay.
Put your other hand on top of that hand. Now listen carefully. You're going to pump the chest hard and fast at least twice per second. We're going to do this 600 times or until help can take over.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to count with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Count out loud. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm not seeing anything.
Just keep going, okay? The paramedics are coming as fast as they can.
Paramedics arrived within minutes. They did everything they could. Adrianne Robert was pronounced dead at the scene. Detectives from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office arrived and began working the apartment. The first thing they noted, no signs of forced entry. Adrianne's door had not been broken. No windows were shattered. Whatever happened here, someone had either been let inside or had followed her through an unlocked door. The signs of struggle were unmistakable. The broken toilet seat, the bruising on Adrianne's body, evidence of a fight, desperate, violent, and one-sided in its ending. In the bedroom, investigators found something that told them exactly how calculated this had been. A section of the bedsheet had been deliberately cut away and removed. A portion of the mattress covering was gone as well. Someone had taken the time after the violence to identify surfaces that might carry biological evidence and had removed them. This was not panic. This was method. Adrianne's bright orange Jeep was also missing from outside the apartment. Detectives collected what remained. DNA samples were secured from the scene. The profile was logged and stored, waiting for a match. The investigation now had its central question. Who had walked Adrianne home? Investigators went back to the beginning. Jay sat with detectives and walked them through the evening. The walk to the club, the drinks, and then he told them something that locked into place like a key. When Adrianne left Diamond Dolls that night, someone left after her.
The whole intention was this was, the last hurrah of us as roommates together. We'd been to Diamond Dolls several times together. It said she wanted to go, and I remember this guy saying something along the lines, about, oh, where's she going? I was like, I think she's leaving, whatever. And I do remember him getting up because she was no longer there.
Detectives returned to Diamond Dolls with one priority: the surveillance footage. The cameras had recorded everything. They showed Adrianne walking out at approximately 1:30 a.m. They showed the man following her out shortly after. They showed him catching up to her, and for a moment returning a shawl she had left behind inside. And then they walked together toward the edge of the camera's frame. And then they were gone. The footage gave investigators a face, but a face alone does not make an arrest. They needed a name. The answer came from an unlikely direction: the cab company. Detectives had established that the man in the footage had arrived at Diamond Dolls by taxi, hours before Adrianne and Jay had even walked through the door. That taxi had been called, and a call means a record, and a record means a phone number. Investigators pulled the cab company's logs and traced the ride to the cell number used to book it. They ran that number through law enforcement databases. It surfaced immediately. The number was already on file, entered previously in connection with a suspicious persons case filed by the Clearwater Police Department. The number had a name attached to it: Thomas Hampton Frederick. Detectives now knew who they were looking for. The suspect had no significant prior criminal record. More importantly, he had no DNA sample on file with any law enforcement agency. The DNA collected from Adrianne's apartment was evidence without a match. Detectives faced a choice: move too early and the suspect walks. Wait and build a case that cannot be undone. They chose to wait. Around-the-clock surveillance was established. Detectives followed the suspect through his daily routine, watching, recording, holding. One day passed, then another, then a week, then two. And then the suspect did something utterly ordinary. He was sitting in a vehicle. He smoked a cigarette. He rolled down the window and tossed the butt to the ground. Investigators moved in the moment he was gone. They collected the cigarette butt from the pavement. It was submitted immediately to the Pinellas County Forensic Lab. Saliva on the paper and filter yielded a complete DNA profile. The lab ran it against the evidence from Adrianne's apartment. It was a match. On July 25, 2012, 11 days after Adrianne Robert was found on her bathroom floor, Thomas Hampton Frederick, 23 years old, was arrested at his workplace by Pinellas County Sheriff's detectives. Detectives brought him in for questioning. At first, Frederick claimed he did not remember the night. He could not recall the details. He offered nothing.
Tell us about your interaction with this girl that this picture we showed you.
She bought me drinks. We danced at the club. Met a friend. Had some more drinks. Went to work.
So you left that place and then you ended up going to work after being out all night? You then went to work?
I do that all the time.
Okay, I'm just asking. Okay. You see her at the club. There's some interaction. She buys some drinks. And then you leave.
Did you stay there till Diamond Dolls closed?
When Diamond Dolls closed, or I probably leave before, depending on if I need cigarettes or not. It all depends on various. That's all I recollect from that night. And it's surprising that you showed me that. It just flashed me doing that.
But you do remember walking her to the corner?
Because when I realized I had a sweater.
I saw that in the video.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
That's the only reason why I got up. Was because of the sweater.
Right. And then,
I'd have still been sitting there.
Right, I understand that.
Have you ever been to her house?
If I did, I really don't remember. I told you, when I drink, I drink.
Just so that I was clear, she went one direction, you went another.
Yeah.
You never saw her again?
I have not seen her since that night.
Since you split at that intersection?
I have not seen her since that night, period.
But as investigators pressed forward, laying out the surveillance footage, the cab record, the phone number, the DNA, Frederick's account shifted. He changed his story. He now claimed that he and Adrianne had engaged in consensual sex inside her apartment. He framed what followed not as an attack, but as a conflict that escalated.
Tell us what happened, Julie.
All right, we left. She asked me to walk her home.
We have somebody that's seen you run and her running.
Yeah.
Okay. So where were you running at? Do you remember?
She wanted to run. She was like, I think I need to run.
Right.
She started running. I don't know where I was running, so I'm following her.
Okay.
So you weren't chasing her?
No.
You were just running with her?
Yeah.
Because she wanted to run.
Yeah.
And you're not a runner.
We wasn't running for too long. She threw up. Yes, we did have sex. Then after that, that's when all hell broke loose. So basically, we got into an argument. She had a knife in my bathroom. And she swung. Once she swung, I got the defensive right then and there. So basically, the knife did plunge into her, but at the same time, I was hysterical. I didn't know what was going on.
Following his arrest, Frederick spoke with investigators. He made admissions. He told detectives where to find the murder weapon. He directed them to the missing section of Adrianne's bedsheet, the piece cut away in the aftermath to destroy evidence. He had taken it with him. In Maine, Adrianne's family received news that no parent, no father, is ever ready for. Their daughter, who had graduated high school, earned her degree, built a career and a life in a city 1,000 miles away, was gone. They waited through the arrest, through the processing, through the long months of pre-trial proceedings. They waited for a courtroom. Thomas Hampton Frederick stood trial in January 2014 in Pinellas County, Florida. He was 25 years old. Both prosecution and defense agreed on one fact. Frederick had killed Adrianne Robert. The dispute was over the nature of what happened. The defense claimed the encounter had been consensual and that violence followed from conflict, not predation. The prosecution laid out the evidence methodically. The surveillance footage, the calculated removal of evidence from the scene, the stolen vehicle, the DNA, the admissions made after arrest, and the nature of Adrianne's injuries, consistent not with conflict, but with an assault. The jury deliberated for approximately 2 hours. They returned a verdict of guilty on all counts. Thomas Hampton Frederick was convicted of first-degree murder and grand theft auto. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Justin's life and all his future plans were turned upside down that day back in July 2012. After a tough few years really struggling to move forward, he would find love again with a woman called Amy, someone he was actually close to when they met as children 30 years beforehand.
And when I met Adrianne, I felt like, wow, I mean, this is, you know, who I was supposed to meet.
And Mary, Justin Pounders, remembers clearly bringing a moving van to Adrianne Roberts' Clearwater apartment in July of 2012. Instead of her warm smile there to greet him, detectives and crime scene tape.
I'm kind of like, how could this happen? This isn't real.
Her killer was caught, but Justin struggled to move on. Despondent, he moved to Orlando, but his mother, Debbie, refused to give up hope.
She would pray every night for me to find someone that make me happy.
His mother even took this photo of his first love, and it turns out that connection remained 30 years later when these two preschool flames met at a restaurant for the first time. Both Amy and Justin are convinced this happy ending was set in motion by their guardian angel, Adrianne.
Everybody knew she wouldn't want me to be sad and by myself forever.
You don't find love, it finds you, and it has to do with destiny.
A twist of fate, 3 decades in the making.
Adrianne's family had traveled from Maine to Florida to be present when the verdict was read. Her father, Mark Robert, stood before the court. "It doesn't bring Adrianne back," he said, "but justice was served today. Thomas Hampton Frederick is currently incarcerated at Hardy Correctional Institution in Bowling Green, Florida. He will remain there for the rest of his life. Adrianne Robert had walked out of Diamond Dolls that night with the ordinary confidence of someone who knows their way home. She was 29. She had a house waiting, a boyfriend, a future she had spent years building.